At the start of 2022, the biggest question the tennis world asked was, is Novak Djokovic going to play the Australian Open? And interestingly, as we head to the final slam of the year, the biggest question again the tennis world is asking, is Novak Djokovic going to play the US Open? Abhijit, going into the US Open, this is his first ATP title of 2022. I mean, how good is Medvedev looking to you? If Djokovic doesn't play, does that make him the outright favorite?
Yeah, surely he's definitely the defending champion, and he just won Mexico. I mean, what a time to get back in form. So I think Medvedev, he had a tough year. He couldn't play Wimbledon, but I think off late he's back in the form, and he's definitely one of the top two, top three favorites to win the US Open.
All right. I mean, each of us is going to reveal our picks for the US Open towards the end of this video. So stay tuned for that. But right now, let's just understand, Vishakha, I think I've said this on record. The Alcaraz versus Sinner rivalry will go down as one of the greatest rivalries of all time. And, I got a sense when they were playing at Umag at the Croatia Open, they both in the final they know they're here to stay. I mean, the mutual respect, the camaraderie they share. I mean, they know they're not just this is not just a one-off final. There are going to be many more finals these two will play against each other. So I want to understand from you how good are the Alcarazes, the Sinners, and the Medvedevs looking for you, or is there someone like now we saw what Kyrgios did? He got the singles title, he got the doubles title. So how do you sum up the entire current form of these men's players?
I think it's wonderful what you pointed out that Sinner and Alcaraz, both of them, they know that they're here to stay. And the final that they played, it was quite competitive. And their runs at the Croatia Open, both of their runs were pretty fantastic. And in the final, Sinner got the better of Alcaraz. I mean, I think Alcaraz won the first set, and then Sinner beat him 6-1, 6-1. Yeah, that's there. So, like you said, even in that final, they were both playing pretty well. And not just the final, but the entire tournament and the entire season, if you'd sum up. Because these guys, they're pretty young. They know that, maybe the big three, they're starting to fade out. So there's a good chance
I
that
like how you stick with big three because it's not so much the big three, but I know for you it's probably only big one. Okay, but go on.
yeah,
This is all
yeah,
of you.
but or
Vishakha
should I
is a
say the top guns?
the diehard Federer fan will never stop believing in Rogers' return. But yeah,
Uh,
go on.
yeah, that's there. So I think okay, maybe I should use the phrase "top guns." It's quite
Mm,
relevant at the moment. So I think
mm,
Sinner and Alcaraz, they're both aware that they have a good shot at achieving greatness, and they are in tremendous form. I mean, on and off this year,
mm,
they've both been pretty fantastic, and leading up to the US and the North American hardcourt
mm,
swing. I think
mm,
both of them are going to be the ones who are going to sweep these tournaments, and they would
mhm.
probably go down as the favorites for the US Open as well. And
Wow.
Medvedev too. He did not lose a set in Mexico, if I'm not
Mm.
wrong. And
And
even in the
especially
final,
the final second set was 6-love
yeah,
against
yeah,
Rory,
it,
which
it was 6-love. He won the last 8 games in that final, if I'm not mistaken. So that is also pretty great because, like the two of you mentioned, he did not win a title this year. And
mm,
I think the last title he won was the US Open. He hasn't won a title
exactly. And what
since.
a time to win one.
So
Yeah.
exactly. So I think he will probably be the favorite, provided Novak is not allowed to play and
Mm,
Rafa does not really flop. Like, nothing can be said as of now
mm,
for those
mm.
guys. But if I am looking at the current scenario, these three they are there to stay at least
And
for the coming month.
I mean, Abhijit, I want to understand your thoughts on Kyrgios with his win at Washington, and I think there's a potential Medvedev-Kyrgios clash coming up at Canada. Am I right? The
Yeah,
tennis.
yeah, they're facing in the
So
second round.
yeah, so Abhijit, how do you see that one panning out, and what do you make of Kyrgios entering the US Open with him being in the final at Wimbledon, the added confidence that that would bring in?
Well, he's playing the best tennis of his life, right? I mean, he was a Wimbledon final. I think he's won 18 out of his last 19 matches.
Hmm.
He's playing doubles. He won two back-to-back doubles titles. He just won today morning. And yeah, now I cannot wait. Like Medvedev is playing really well, and Kyrgios is in a great form. So now, if they both play in Canada, imagine that level. I'm just excited.
Exactly.
Exactly. The-
So that match will kind of give us a preview who has a
Hmm.
mental,
Hmm.
hold of the person. But yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, those are literally, other than Nadal, those are like, two of the favorites everybody's talking about. Like Nick, all of a
Right.
sudden, he's favorite to win a Grand Slam. Imagine. We couldn't,
Yeah.
right? But the US Open swing, we are talking
Yeah.
about Kyrgios, maybe a US Open champion. So yeah,
Right.
I that Canada match takes place, and it will be a blockbuster for sure.
Totally. And Vishaka, the women's side, we saw obviously Swiatek had the 37 match winning streak, which was broken at Wimbledon. She lost to Alize Cornet. Then she even lost again in the quarters at the Poland Open. So two losses for someone like Iga Swiatek, the world number one. Plus, I mean, it over the years we've seen that the U.S. Open has been the most open amongst the four slams because you can never predict a winner. You saw out of nowhere we had
Exactly.
Emma Raducanu out of. I mean, who could have predicted that? And she's playing Leila Fernandez in the final last year. So in terms of openness, it is even more open given Swiatek's also lost. So how would you see the U.S. Open on the women's side? What is your understanding of it?
I think I'm not qualified enough to probably even predict something because on the
Hmm.
women's side, it's always so unpredictable, and that's what makes it interesting. You never
Hmm.
know who's gonna come, who's gonna win. The player in the top form might crash in the first round. Maybe she might go on to win. So I think I might not have a solid sort of a
Hmm.
prediction in
Hmm.
that, but if I have to give you some names, I think
Hmm.
Coco Gauff, she might have
Hmm.
the local favorite advantage, and
Yeah. Yeah.
she's performed well at US Open previously. That's there, and then I think yeah, Swiatek would still be a force to reckon with because she's Swiatek. She's
Hmm.
had a good season.
Hmm.
Maybe she'll come back. I think she did not have much success last week. She
Hmm.
played. I'm not able to recall the tournament name correctly, but
Hmm. Hmm.
she probably lost before the quarterfinals. That's what I remember.
Right.
So, but
Right.
maybe she can turn around. We could see how they play in Canada and in Cincinnati. We'll have to
Right.
see that. Otherwise, I think Coco Gauff is there, and even Paola Badosa, she's there. I think
Hmm.
these are the two players that I see might have
Hmm.
big success at the US Open. But then again, it's so unpredictable. But that's what makes it
I
beautiful.
know who's winning US Open. I will put each of us on the spot, on the line here.
Three people, either it's Medvedev, Sinner, or Alcaraz. And for
Okay.
women, I think it's either Coco Gauff, Paula Badosa, or Swiatek.
The finalists, I think Taylor Fritz. I'm
Okay.
gonna go with Yannick Sinner as the champion.
Okay.
Women's side, again, I'm gonna go all American, and I'm gonna say Coco Gauff and Jessica Pegula. I think
Okay.
you know
Ah.
go very deep and maybe be the finalists also. But Coco Gauff is my champion. And just to say that Dasha, Satkina, and Paula Badosa, I think they will also go deep in the tournament.
Here comes my pick. I'm going with Djokovic if he plays. If Djokovic doesn't play, I see Sinner or Medvedev winning it. Sinner is as big a threat to winning it as Medvedev for me. But if there's someone who can be a real threat for me, it's Felix Auger-Aliassime. I think that guy
Hmm.
because in the next gen, I'm not talking about the next gen we used to speak of because now the current next gen for me is just Sinner and Alcaraz, but we don't talk so
Hmm.
much about Felix. But Felix is coming. Like, going to make some news, I feel, big news. He's going to go deep into this US Open, is what I feel. But let's see. And on the women's side, my picks are very close to both of you. I'm going with Coco Gauff and Iga Swiatek. One of them, I think, will go and lift the title. Let's see. Well, that's all we have on this episode of Talk Tennis with Sarthak. We'll be back with lots more.